Now we're solving more complex equations, and here's one of the examples from our book, the Praxis Math Tutor, or Praxis 1 Math. What is the value of x in the equation x minus 7 over 3 equals negative 13? And you can see this is a fractional part of the equation. The 3 is the denominator, and x minus 7 is the numerator, equals to negative 13. And the first thing we want to do when we have fractional equations is to cancel out the denominator somehow. And we can do this using the multiplicative property. Whatever fraction you have, in this case, you're going to multiply that number as a whole number. The reciprocal of, in this case, really x minus 1 over 7, x minus 7 over 3. It's like this is 1/3. So you're going to multiply 3 on both sides of the equation. I'm going to write it again. Minus 7 over 3 equals to negative 13. You're going to use the multiplicative inverse. All right? You're going to use the multiplicative inverse to multiply a whole number 3 on both sides. All right? As you multiply 3 on both sides of the equation, it's a rule of thumb. What you do on one side of the equation, you do it on the opposite side. What that means is whatever values that you apply, whatever properties that you apply, the multiplicative inverse or the additive inverse, you do it right after the equal sign, the expression after the equal sign. So you're doing it both sides of the equation. So this cancels out. So you have plain x minus 7 equals to a negative 39. Because when you multiply negative 13 times 3, you get a negative 39. And then we solve for x. And again, we have x minus 7 equals to negative 39. We use the additive inverse. All right, the additive inverse means whatever the opposite is. All right, so I'm going to add 7 using straight line, both sides. All right, this cancels out. You have x equals to a negative 32. All right, equals to a negative 32, and this is your answer. All right. Let's try another equation. Solve the following. All right, I'm going to write this question down. Equation for x. All right, 3 times x minus 5 equals to 6. All right. So in this equation, you have a distributive property, and in a distributive property, you have to see what you can do on both sides. All right. You can solve the equation, or what you can do is you can use the multiplicative inverse. All right. Some students go ahead and multiply 3 times x times negative 5, and you'll get 3x minus 5. 3x times 3x minus 15 if you do the distributive property. But you want to keep in mind, let me write it again, that you can apply shortcuts. Okay? You can look at the two factors, 3 and 6, and they kind of have something in common. This is 3 times x minus 5. So instead of distributing the 3, let's see if we can try to reduce this. And what you can do is use the multiplicative inverse. This is only if you have the terms in front of this expression, and then you have equal to whatever term that has a factor that you can reduce or simplify. And it's useful to use the multiplicative inverse. All right. Now, doing that, I'm going to divide by 3. All right. Or multiply, take this inverse of this, multiply by 1/3. All right. And do the same thing on this side. Okay. You can see that. And you can see here by using the multiplicative inverse that I took this value or this constant and multiply it times its inverse to get x alone. You want to do properties or use these techniques to get x alone the best way you can. A factor or constant at a time. This cancels. This becomes 1/3 of 6 becomes 2. So you have x minus 5 equals to 2. All right. You see how easy that is? And you kind of reduce these factors using. It's almost the same thing as using the properties, but using an inverse, you can. It's just the opposite operation. If you have a multiplication problem, and if you can use the reverse of that, the inverse of it, which is division, to get rid of your constants or the other terms to get x alone, you can do that. Just as well as the multiplicative inverse, you can do the additive inverse if you're solving an equation. And this is what we're going to do. We have x minus 5 equals to 2, so we're going to look at this side and we're going to use the additive inverse. The additive inverse of subtraction is addition, so we're going to add plus. Okay, plus 5 on both sides. All right. Okay, plus 5 on both sides. All right. And then this cancels. You have x equals to 7. All right. Okay, you have x equals to 7.